All right, welcome back to Life Full Circle Radio. As I mentioned at the top, we got a lot to talk about today. As we mentioned, Life Full Circle Radio has been a part of my DNA for some years now. We kind of took a break for good reason. In between time, Nakia Gainey became Nakia Shakur. She's got a whole instant family over there. Super producer. That's my Dana Dane impression. What's going on, girl?
Oh my God, talk about instant family. Like the fact that I'm running around to different schools trying to get my kids switched to the biggest school and they're giving me issues, not yelling with a mask going to the other teachers. Like it's a hot mess being a parent of a teenager. It's not fun.
Well, you know what? I'm just letting you know we're gonna add the teacher mask conversation to we're gonna add it in the show today. I know we got plenty to talk about already, but I think we can both relate. For those who first time tuned into Life with Circle Radio, this is what we do with the show. We take topics off, we take subject matter off the headlines, we dig a little bit deeper into it. We've had some amazing guests over the years. We're gonna start reaching out to some of those folks again because it's time to get back on this grind. It's time to continue to tell these stories and create great content. So over the course of the last 3+ years since we've been chilling, raising these families and getting it in, we've had somebody in the White House that has been wreaking havoc on our country, Mr. Donald Trump. It's going to be hard to have these shows without having him a part of the conversation, especially when you have someone who's coming in like Bob Woodward, who got some recordings, who's writing a book and decided he wants to let us know, Trump wanted to let us know what he really thought about the coronavirus. Kid, let's talk about the infamous tapes of Bob Woodward.
So if people who are listening to the show don't know exactly who Bob Woodward is, a lot of people should, but I'm not sure about our listeners some days. But Bob Woodward actually broke the Watergate story that ended Nixon's presidency. Woodward is who I think the other gentleman's name Bernstein. I'm so sorry, but he's who a lot of journalists look up to. That's who he aspired to be. He's an author. He's a great,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And he's writing a book, and for some reason, Trump and Lindsey Graham thought it'd be a great idea for him to sit down for not one conversation, not two conversations, 18 conversations.
18 conversations, yeah.
18 conversations with Bob Woodward. During these conversations, Trump made this comment: "This is deadly stuff. You just breathe air, and that's how it's passed." And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than even your strenuous flu. He is talking about this. He's talking about how his first thoughts on the coronavirus. This is completely different than the thoughts that he gave out to all of us press conferences where it's a hoax. You don't need to wear a mask. It'll be gone in a couple of days. We only have 12 cases, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward to now where almost 200,000 people have died. And these are the original thoughts. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I've said many times when I describe Donald Trump, people say he's a racist, and he is. But I think he's much more of a classist than he is a racist. Mm-hmm. The almighty dollar is what drives his every thought and his every action. Everything he talks about is based on the economy. Everything he's talking about is based on a business deal. He doesn't like black people. We don't like poor people either. You know what I mean? And so
my opinion is different about that. I don't think he's racist, but I do think he's classist.
Okay, let's dig into that because he's had plenty of racist acts. But tell me why you don't think he's racist.
The reason why I think he's more classist than racist is because he does have black friends, but they're only black friends who have been wealthy. He didn't have black friends growing up. He didn't have black friends in childhood. But once there were wealthy black people around him, all of a sudden these are my black friends that I have. So I don't think it's racism. I think it's classism more than anything else. Because when he became president, he did have friends who were black people. We've seen him in these pictures. We've seen him taking pictures with Al Sharpton. Let's be honest. Don't do that. Let's not.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. He bought his way into those rooms, obviously, by writing checks. So I don't know. I don't put a lot of time on. I'm looking at what his actions are. I'm looking at what he's been doing today. I'm looking at how he moves. I'm looking at what, the things that he has done to the African American community and the way he's described countries that primarily have black leadership. And
if we're just focusing on this to me is worse than what he's ever done. Honestly,
the coronavirus piece.
Yes.
The coronavirus. Yeah. And that's the classist part of it. You're exactly right. That is the part that he pretty much knew that I don't know. I just think people like Trump actually think that if it's almost like the whole Rocky IV, if he dies, right? These people look at people just like, you know, and you go back to, we thought it was a joke when Dan Patrick, not the radio guy, but the lieutenant governor of Texas, said back in February, March, April, May, somewhere in there, that if he's willing to sacrifice his life, and old people are willing to sacrifice their lives for the country, there are people who really believe that nonsense.
Because remember, he wasn't the only person who said that. Glenn Beck also made that comment from the Blaze and said that, you know, old people should be willing to sacrifice themselves. Well, quick little bit of information about my husband's family. He lost a large amount of people who are New Yorkers. My husband is from New York. He lost, I think we're at 5 family members. 5 family members and 1 friend all died in New York. And one of those friends wasn't an old person. He was 33. He was supposed to be in a wedding with them and died a week before the wedding was supposed to take place, but of course it didn't happen. But to say I'm willing to sacrifice any American, that is, again, un-American to say. And another thing that I think is interesting is how Trump supporters are so die-hard. They are willing to die for him. They went to that rally. A lot of them not wearing masks, just thinking, oh, he's right, it's a hoax, and this and that. And we lost Herman Cain. Say what you want about Herman Cain. Did he need to die for this? No.
And then at the Republican National Convention, they didn't even do a RIP, and you know, just nothing, no acknowledgement, no anything. And you just look at it and you just say, you know, beyond the racism that to many of us is obvious in the party, and you're a Black Republican. And I know this is something that is, you know, sticks in your craw. It's just the selfishness that really bugs me, because I know a lot of great people who I know either they've told me they're Republican or I know they're Republican by the way they move. And they ain't just white folk. They're Black folks, they're Hispanics, the Indians, they're people, East Indian, there's people of different, and they are. And so, and it's okay, because I get it as a person who's an entrepreneur. I understand the benefits that a lot more folks make money when Republicans are in control, because they are pro-business. A lot of cases when it comes down to Democrats, they're much more focused on social issues, which in a lot of cases are not making money. It's costing the country money. But then at that point, you have to look at stuff and say, are you willing to sacrifice? See, that's the thing about me as a business person. I look at it and say, I may sacrifice 5% of my income for the good of the country, of the people who are around me, or even just my family or Black folks in general, because that is I lead with the betterment of Black people. That's what I do outside of my own family. And I know most Black folks don't understand, you know, 99% of all Black entrepreneurs don't have any employees, so basically they just created their own job. And so, you know, that's a whole different conversation. So point being that having the ability to empathize with others is something that seems to be was kind of covertly lacking, but now with Trump and the Trump Republicans running the Republican Party, it's overtly a thing that is being focused on with these folks.
It's overt, and it's definitely something that, you know, breaks my heart, because this is not, we're supposed to be the party of morals, and this is not something morally that you do. And what is also annoying to me is that he is blaming everybody else, and some people are laughing this up. Even with the comment, he's saying, well, Bob Woodward should have told you guys. Wait, what? He should have told us? What are you talking about? And that's what his others follow saying, well, why didn't Bob Woodward tell everybody that this was what's going on? He should have told people. He didn't. He's the cause of all these deaths. No, he's not. Should he have told somebody ethically, ethically? Should he have said something to somebody and said, yo, I got this quote. Doesn't make it, like, I don't know, like, here? Yes, he should have. He didn't, but that's not the actual cause of this situation. The person in the White House said this wasn't a big deal in front of us. Behind closed doors, he knew it was a big deal and knew that it was dangerous. I mean,
you know, here's the thing, and it's a shame that when you talk about Woodward and people are saying, why didn't he tell people earlier? Well, here's the thing. He knew whenever he told America that 50% or at least 40% of America wasn't going to believe him anyway.
That, and let's say he came out and then the entire White House is like, we don't know what he's talking about. Like, that quote was taken out of context, and we still have this and we have that, and we still end up in the same situation. I mean, like, again, Trump supporters are in factions, but the hardcore crazies, he could do anything in front of people and it wouldn't even matter. He could,
and
come out in blackface
yeah.
and have sex with a woman that's not his wife in front of everybody while wearing a swastika t-shirt, and people be like, well, you know, maybe it's because of this reason, and I don't know, who am I to judge? Like,
I almost want folks who are that hardcore supporter of them to say, hey, here's the thing, guys, screw you, I don't give a damn about you, I care about being white, and I don't give a damn about nothing else that's because that's what, you know, stop trying to make fake excuses. You know what I mean? Stop making excuses. You can, and here's the thing: I can take, as long as you don't try to put your hands on me, because it's going to be a different situation then. But if you want to look me in my face and basically say, you know what, I don't like black people, I don't care about y'all, I just care about myself. You know, I'm gonna look at you like, you know what, dude, you know what? I understand that. I appreciate you being so honest. You know, F you, but we're gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna take care of my family, stay away from my property, stay away from my people. And you live your life how you want to live your life. This is where we are right now. And I know there's a ton of people who don't think that way, but there's also a ton of people who understand that. They got those type of people in their family, and they're shielding them. That, you know, you're not addressing this stuff publicly. I don't know what's going on in their family, you know, with the green bean casserole. But when it comes down to it, if it's being addressed in those conversations, then do something about it November the 3rd. His name. Yeah, you know the funny thing about me, you know, and this is something, you know, it was kind of off subject, but it's not. Trump, I want people to understand something about the media and social media. Trump has been trying to rewrite history for the last 4 years. When it's all said and done, he goes on television, he goes on Twitter, he does all the stuff that he's doing. So when it's all said and done, 10, 15, 20, 100 years from now, when we forget about all this stuff and it's hard to pass that information down, then people will be able to go back and look at the record book and say, maybe he wasn't all that bad. Here's the thing. I wanted to be on the record. Yes, he was that bad. I want my kids, I want Michelle and Layla and Saran. Make sure y'all take this tape. Make sure when I'm old, dead, in the grave, here's the tape. Yes, he was that bad.
What he's doing is, when you're saying changing history, and honestly, I know you kind of mean it symbolically, but literally he is, because now he's adding footnotes to everybody's history.
Yeah.
To the Susan Rices of the world, to Obama, to Michelle Obama,
right.
to all these people, to Joe Biden. There'll be these little tiny footnotes of, well, Trump said that he, you know, spied on his campaign. And
right.
little smudge marks on history that shouldn't be there. No,
right.
Years that we've been having elections,
right.
it's never happened. But let's move on to Trump. That's our Trump block. Now we're moving on to Killer Mike.
Killer Mike, right here from the A. Michael Render, well known, well respected here in the A. Let's talk about Killer Mike. What's the story?
This week, Killer Mike met with Governor Kemp, you know, who's a Republican, and has had a myriad of issues that are affecting Georgians. And you know, Killer Mike has been vocal about all Black issues. So Killer Mike went to go speak with Governor Kemp, and I think his wife is who that was. And of course, the governor posted saying they had a great conversation. They discussed small businesses in the music industry and weathering the pandemic and skilled trade workers and blah, blah, blah. And social media erupted, basically calling Killer Mike, for lack of better words, a coon, which made me go, well, wait a minute. Killer, we're talking about Killer Mike, right? Like, pro-Black Killer Mike, always pro-Black Killer Mike. He's now on the coon list. Like, I know we got Terry Crews over there, valid, but why are we trying to push Killer Mike over there for having a conversation?
Because most of the idiots that use the word coon, they use it so, you know, like they use CarMax. They just throw it out there. We need to get off this thing where we think we're not supposed to have conversations with the people who don't think like us and look like us. Kemp is the governor of Georgia. Killer Mike is someone who has the ear of everybody from, you name it, you know, Stacey Abrams to Mayor Bottoms to the NRA to you name it. Killer Mike has the ear of a lot of folks, and sometimes you need somebody who can be somewhat of an ambassador, in between factions. You know, for idiots, someone, oh, Killer Mike, you sell out, you a coon, whatever. First of all, you know, social media, man, it's just too many people have mics in this world right now. Some of y'all just need to shut up. Y'all just need to, I hope it feels good for the 10 people that you know that are following you, and you can sit up and say, yeah, I lit him up. No, Killer Mike ain't gonna read it. He's not gonna see it. And here's the thing: if he really sees it or reads it, he gonna light you up. So hopefully, just for your own sanity, leave it alone. Killer Mike is doing what he's doing. He's doing a lot of work here in the city of Atlanta.
A lot.
He's doing a lot of work in the city of Atlanta.
Multiple businesses. He hires majority African Americans in his locations. He has said that he wants African Americans to arm themselves and become gun owners because we do need to keep ourselves safe. Again, if you're looking for somebody pro-black, super pro-black, Killer Mike is the person that you want to talk to. Does everybody agree with him all the time? No. But do we agree with each other all the time? No. That's how things work. And what kills me is that who he has in his corner that is making it worse. Stupid, milk dud head, Fox Sports, Jason Whitlock. Like, I cannot with Jason Whitlock. His head looks like a milk that looks delicious. But I can't.
I can't believe you brought that clown into the conversation.
Because he's the one on Twitter basically saying, well, why are you guys so against Jason? I mean, so against, Killer Mike. Killer Mike's doing this. He didn't check with the white liberal. And I'm just like, Jason, we get it. You don't like yourself and you don't like black people. But Killer Mike doesn't fall in that category with you at all.
Jason Whitlock, Killer Mike don't need your support. You just trying to find your way to get back in the back door or come back through the back door to the cookout. You're not invited. Go eat some raisin potato salad, and that's what you love. Now that Fox done fired you and left you out in the corner, you're trying to find your way back into the conversation. You would spend
people are gonna go off on us and say, why you all keep bringing some potato salad? We don't even eat potato salad. What are y'all talking about? That was one lady one time 5 years ago, and the whole black race never forgot about it. It was one person.
Hey, you gotta violate our culture but one time, and we ain't gonna never forget. Jason Whitlock spends way too much time finding ways to crap on black people. Anybody who does that, I don't have many words for you. He's been doing this for the better part of 25 years. A lot of people don't know he was a writer. He's been a sports writer, probably closer to 30 years, so 25 to 30 years. And, the way he was attacking Colin Kaepernick and the way that he was attacking LeBron James and the way, dude, like, I hope the check's cleared. I hope you stack them checks. And now that Fox is fired, that's the thing these people kill me. You want to ride with this very polarizing media outlet with Fox Sports. And there's a lot of cats over there that are still doing good work.
Yeah.
But you want to take the Fox News approach to Fox Sports. So now when you're left when they decide to fire you and they're done with you, now where do you go? Because ESPN's not going to hire you. You done burned down the bridge with I don't know how many newspapers. And now you're stuck. And so now, hey, maybe you're a strong enough entrepreneur. You got some other things you're doing, but, you 50 plus, 55 years old, and now for the next, 30 years of your life, you're going to have to figure it out. I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense to me that people, but, I guess I just haven't had enough of a taste of.
Now, I wish there was a transcript of the conversation because I do want to know if he brought up the voter suppression situation that happened in Georgia because that was a very big deal. And I wish, again, I don't think a transcript will ever come out.
No, it will never come out.
To know exactly what they talked about because if he brought up issues of, well, this and this is what we've seen, that's making it harder for these issues. And if you want black people to do that, like if it was a whole conversation, I would feel like, okay, then he did what he was supposed to do as an activist. You went in there.
Yeah, I'm not of the mindset that you can't have conversations with your adversaries. When Steve Harvey and those folks went to Trump right before he got elected. Okay. Now he paid you giggling. He paid the price, but he's good now.
How? His show went from a regular network TV to now being on YouTube, on Facebook.
Ooh.
Steve Harvey's show. His show.
Steve Harvey getting them Family Feud checks. He good.
Oh, is he still on the Feud?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, see, ain't nothing wrong with Steve Harvey paper. He's Steve doing all right. I think everybody the last year has been wondering what that stuff is in syndication, and they're like, okay, when we gonna get back in these studios? Because we got to get these people back to work. But you can have these conversations. Somebody's got to go and have the conversations, especially as polarizing as we are right now. Point being, but can't say Jason Whitlock, I got nothing for it. All right, let's move on. Let's talking to folks on the both sides of the aisle. Let's talk Candace Owens and CardiB.
Okay, we can talk about CardiB, or I can bring up another topic that I wanted to bring up with you for a while, but we've been on hiatus. We can either talk about CardiB, or I can bring up the surprise topic.
Bring us.
You have to pick from the mystery box.
Let's bring up the surprise. The surprise. All right, audience. I don't know what she's getting ready to ask me. So, and my wife tells me that I don't hide things well on my face. I'm gonna try my best. All right, super producer. What you about to pull out your surprise box?
Well, in the next 2 weeks, Tamron Hall, her show has come back on NBC, the Tamron Hall Show, and one of her first guests will be Andrew Gillum and his wife. Now, are you trying to hide your face because you're not doing
I'm trying. I'm not doing a good job.
So, people know this from other podcasts that I've been on. I'm actually very familiar with Andrew Gillum. I'm actually was cool with his sister in college. We all had like a secret, Andrew Gillum when he first came out. Side note.
So backstory. Were you at FAM when he was at FAM?
I had just gotten there when he left, but he was still coming back to help his sister run for SGA president and help his sister run for freshman class president. Like he was coming back to the school kind of often because she was there, and he was still the famous guy on campus.
Okay.
And there were rumors then about him being, gay. Even when he got married, we all laughed and was like, who wanted to be that beard for the rest of her life? And again, that's all of us who know the backstory. But we have all.
First of all, I don't know. Is beard a derogatory? I don't know.
It can be a derogatory term, but all of us made a decision to not talk about this because some of our friends were actually requesting interviews and they were just like, absolutely not. Nobody would talk about it. It was just a thing. So his incident happened. He trashed a pretty promising political career, even as an analyst, as a member of the Biden administration, which I really thought was around the corner.
Right.
Where does he go from here, even after this interview with his wife, who was wearing a hideous pink dress? I can't with her clothing choices, but that's a different subject. Where does he go from here?
I don't know. I know some folks who outside of yourself who know him, who are strong advocates of him. He obviously knows his stuff. I guess at that point is whether or not he's living out his truth. He's reconciling with his wife, right? And do they have children? I don't know if they have children or not.
They have children.
This living in, he's got a law degree. I guess he's gonna go back and practice law, and maybe that's how he'll make a living because it's gonna be tough. But at the same time, the liberal base is forgiving. Especially if Joe Biden wins, it doesn't matter if Joe Biden wins. I give that brother doing this interview. I give him another year, and he's gonna find his way back in the conversation.
My issue is that instead of just living in his truth, like you said, I think that's where a lot of us who knew the story are more annoyed. Like, dude, live in your truth. Like this whole I have to be straight, I have to be a family man. Nobody has put that label on white men. Why do we force that label on black men? We got Lil Pete Buttigieg who out here living his best life, doing what he needs to do. He served in the military. He's embarrassing Fox News host now, doing interviews and stuff. Like he's doing a good job.
Who outside of Buttigieg
Janet
has
Reno?
had Did you say Janet Reno? You dug in the history, but outside of Pete Buttigieg, he's obviously openly gay and he's doing his thing. I think him as in Gillum leaving his wife, as you say, to live out his truth. I know people who are bisexual. Maybe this still is his truth. He may have an attraction to men, but he still loves his wife and his family. And so now he's good with that. So, I think he's a sharp dude. I think he was just.
It's mind-boggling to me because he is so smart. You are so good at this. I get he tried to blame it on a drug and alcohol. I don't think he's an alcoholic. I don't think he's a drug addict. That whole thing of he going to rehab was ridiculous. I do think he was super depressed because he really thought he was on that good foot to win and he didn't, and that can be depressing. But
sure.
There was a huge silver lining on the other side. He was a sought after. I guess this really just hurts my feelings for so many reasons, and I want to get your opinion on it because again, this was a guy who was about to be a rock star in the Democratic Party, and he went up in smoke. And now we have him doing interviews with Tamron Hall. with his wife, and he wants all of us to believe that everything's good now. We're working through it.
Right.
And most couples get over this type of public embarrassment and be completely fine and show that brave face.
Well, most people don't have a public life like this, so it's hard to equate that, because it's, people always talk about, all the generalizations. Oh, it's a whole lot of down low brothers and blah blah blah. I don't know. I personally don't. I don't know. I personally don't know any. At least I know that they know. I don't know. People living their lives. It is what it is. The brother's a sharp dude. If he wants to protect his family, they decided to reconcile, then I wish him the best. Now, as far as him being able to run for office again, probably not. But could he be an amazing lobbyist? Can he be somebody who could have a strong position in the Democratic National Committee, something to that effect? I'm sure he could, because I'm sure. Yeah.
News station. I mean,
right.
I just think it's
right.
It's I don't know.
That brother's is he 40 yet? I don't think is he like.
He might be 42.
If he is, he's barely for. So the point is, he's got a long life to live.
Yes, he's 41 because he was born in 79.
Yeah, so he's got a long career ahead of him. So we definitely wish him the best. All right, let's move on. What you want to tackle next?
So now we can talk about CardiB versus Candace Owens, and I hate to say this, but I agree with Candace Owens. It's hard to explain my position, but they're both being used by each party for different reasons. And I know you kind of agree with me a little bit, but you're making a face, so.
Because here's the thing, I'm gonna let you finish. That's my Kanye. Is that Kanye? That's Kanye, right? I'm gonna let you finish. So why do you think that? Because we know why we feel Candace Owens is being used, but because obviously, as there's things that as somebody at Ben Shapiro, like you were mentioning earlier, could not get away with what she says. Obviously, they tied, because I think about Candace Owens, we kind of went through a cycle. When Trump first came into office, we had the pastor out of Ohio. We had Diamond.
Mark Burns.
Not even him, Mark Burns, too, the fake Kappa. We had Mark Burns who came and went. Then it was Daryl. What's Daryl's last name? The pastor out of Ohio. Anyway, you had him, and then you had Diamond and Silk, and who came in. And then here came this.
You had Terrence.
I don't even give that dude. No, I don't even put him on the list.
Okay.
R.I.P. to Herman Cain, who's been in the game much longer. But then here comes Candace Owens, well-spoken, attractive young black lady. Looks like she could fall right into the millennial crowd with all the activists that's out there right now. And here she comes, very well-spoken, and going hard in the paint for some BS. And so. So Candace is definitely being used. But why do you think that CardiB is being used by the Democratic Party? I'm curious.
Because I wouldn't listen to CardiB read me a recipe for biscuits. Like, there's nothing CardiB could tell me about politics that I would be all like, oh yeah, because Cardi said it, I'm gonna go do it. No. Now, is Cardi a great entertainer? Yes. Has she gone from absolutely nothing to something? Yes. Does she have a lot of black voices behind her where she can use her platform? Yes. And that's why I believe she's being used. She's not very educated, and we both know that. That's not just her accent why she can't speak. The girl is slightly illiterate, and it's nothing wrong with that.
I don't agree with that.
What? Okay.
I don't agree. Here's the thing.
We're not.
No, we are. And here's why. And I kind of get my feelings a little bit when people talk about people who are bilingual, as she is, but. That girl is say what you want to say.
It's not because she's bilingual. It's not because bilingual I'm saying she's illiterate. I come from the dance scene. There's a lot of people I know are bilingual with very thick accents. It's different having a thick accent. And then when you speak or write on Twitter, it comes out, it doesn't make sense. It comes out very illiterate, like you don't know what you're talking about. That's the problem. The only reason why I get Cardi passed is that in the Kansas, like, you're being used by the Democratic Party. Cardi's like, and so, yes, I have a big platform. I have the #1 song in the nation. They want to use it. They can use it. Kudos to you, Cardi. I'm fine with that. If you know and you're willing to do it, great.
Yes, well, you see, I'm, as a marketer, I look at it and say there's a market for everything and everybody. There are people who follow Cardi B that wouldn't give a damn about what I had to say. So, so let Cardi, and when the video came out, the WAP video came out, I don't know, I guess it's been a month or so ago. I looked at it, I laughed, I said, this ain't nothing but, this is Little Kim, this is Foxy Brown with a lot more money to produce high quality video. I tell you the whole thing about Cardi B, and I'm gonna come back to this part of the conversation. Cardi B grew on me. Initially I was just like, but it got to the point I was just like, this girl is on her hustle, she's on her grind. I don't agree with, with 3 daughters. I definitely don't want my daughters presenting themselves in that way, obviously. But the girl there's a charisma about her that gets people, because it ain't just the music. It is when you talk about how she sounds halfway illiterate when she's on social media, yeah. But if you listen to what she's saying, she's actually making valid points, right? When she had the conversation with Bernie Sanders, if I was someone who followed Cardi B and that was my people, I rock with her, she would have been able to communicate with me in such a way that I can't communicate with Cardi's audience like that.
And so right? That's the difference. And that's why I will, again, give Cardi a little bit more slack, because for that Bernie Sanders interview, she went in as the grown wife mom. She went in like that, with like a little bit of hip hop. When she's arguing with Candace online, she's probably home, maybe drinking, chilling like all of us do on the weekends. And now she got to face this broken edges girl, and she was not in the mood for that. And it came off illiterate, which only made Candace come more gas on top of it.
That was so shady. Oh, the broken edges girl, that was so shady.
Split ends, like, girl, find some tracks or a hot comb or something. Girl, these are fake. I put these on myself. Like, you can do more. I get this right now, but there's a lot you can do when you're pregnant. But anyway, I think that's why it came off weird. The issue that I had with it is that I feel like Cardi should have stopped, maybe waited the next morning, got sober, and then made all of her responses or something. But Candace just used it as more fuel, and she had plenty of fuel when they were going back and forth on Twitter.
And that's the thing about it, Cardi B getting into a political debate with Candace Owens only benefits Candace Owens. It doesn't benefit. It does not benefit Cardi B, because you're in a conversation, a prolonged conversation, with somebody who's better equipped than you are.
Yes.
In that conversation, right? Now, if you want to get into a conversation, well, I almost said something real crude. I'm not going to do that. So,
and something else. What made me also annoyed with Candace is that she went on there with Ben Shapiro to talk about how awful Cardi B is because of the song WAP, and how it was bad enough. If you guys want to listen to something funny, go to YouTube and listen to Ben Shapiro read the lyrics to WAP on his YouTube channel.
No, thank you.
My pants laughing. Because you need to stop too. But they were going there to say how she's awful and this and that because of the song. And that to me was like, okay, if you're gonna talk about maybe she's got this issue or maybe this and that, but talking about an entertainment piece as a way to justify her as a person.
Yeah. While Ben Shapiro was probably home binge watching Game of Thrones, or that's a whole different conversation. We start talking about sexuality. There's certain things that people aren't comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with that song being played around children. No. That song being played in where, and here's the thing: we're talking about a Cardi B who is married with a child.
Who has a child within her marriage. A lot of people
within her marriage. Now people say, all right, Miguel, here you are. She's using her body. She's selling her body to sell music. Using her body to sell music. Yeah, I get it. But I'm starting to my moral compass, on sexuality in comparison to moral compass on saving this world. It's people.
What is worse? Selling your body to sell your music, or selling your soul to be a shill for the Republican Party, and not knowing that's what you are. That is a problem I have with Candace. Candace is not like, this is something.
I guess, and we'd have to go a little bit deeper, and that's a whole different show that we can do, and we'll talk about that. But The Republican Party per se is not the problem. It's the far right ideology that has cost people lives. You know, the bottom line, when it comes down to the difference between a conversation about you supporting an administration that is costing people's lives, both on the border with these children, in the health crisis with coronavirus, you know, there's so many different things, and then people want to support that man who doesn't give a damn about abortion because you are one issue voter when it comes down to abortion. It's so short-sighted, and it's so short-sighted. So anyway, you know, God bless CardiB. Stay out of political debates with Candace Owens.
And God bless Candace Owens. And here's the one thing I want to say. Candace is going to get to a point where she's going to want to move up in her career, and the world will not let her. They'll be like, no, you're this girl. You're just going to have to stay right here because you said this, and this. And when she tries to maybe make a shift, the world is going to remind her, no, you don't get to make that shift because you said all these awful things back when you were in your early 30s. You can't just say all of a sudden now, oh, I was different. I'm in my 40s now. That's not how this works.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Ben Shapiro ended up where he is. Ben Shapiro had a promising career. Then he was doing this stuff, and now he is podcasting. What is that?
You know that you're getting to the point now where there are people who are really comfortable in living in their lanes and staying there because there's a market for a little bit. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying, you know, the same debate, and I'm not prepared to talk about it today because I didn't get finished looking at the video, but Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God. You know, Joe Budden was basically snapping on Charlamagne because he was clowning him for being a 10-year employee of iHeart, and Joe Budden's doing podcasts. And Joe's looking at it like, you a slave, I'm not. Now Charlamagne's got a bigger platform, but I would not be surprised if Joe Budden is making as much or more money as Charlamagne doing what he's doing, owning his platform.
And now Joe Budden has been released from his contract. He left Spotify because Spotify didn't want to give him the money that he wanted. So he doesn't have a place to put his podcast right now. And Spotify, behind closed doors, is going out of their way to defame Joe's character. And it's pretty obvious this was going on. So it's gone from him making these comments about Charlamagne to now exploding into some craziness online, but I won't even go there. That'll definitely be for another podcast. But
yeah, let's talk about that on the next show because I need to dig in because I even saw a little clip of Joe Budden who was pleasuring his friend's dog. So anyway, let's move on. All right, so
far out. I like the Joe Budden podcast. I'm a fan, and that was okay. Next topic, happy topic. Versus battles continue, and the next battle is the one that everybody is gonna love, but we didn't even know we were gonna get. But we're getting Gladys Knight versus Patti LaBelle. I mean,
say my name. Yeah, there we go. So here's the thing for all you youngins out there who are saying that Gladys Knight is gonna take Patti LaBelle. You have never seen Patti LaBelle in concert.
How dare you?
You could not have ever. I have gotten into a couple of conversations about Gladys Knight. And don't get me wrong, you know, I think she's going to bring some fried chicken and Patti going to bring her Patti pies and we're going to have a cook-off. They better have it in a kitchen studio somewhere. It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be fun. I the most interesting meme I've seen today said that I'm not going to tell my parents that this is going on because I don't want to be tech support for my mom and dad on Sunday. I'm going to the house with my wine and they just going to miss it. But let's talk about Patti and Gladys.
My mom's very excited about it, but when we think about these women's work, we're talking about from the early 80s, late 70s to the 2000s. These women have songs.
Actually, you got to go back to the 60s with Gladys Knight. So she's 50 years in the game.
It was
Gladys Knight and Pips. Yes.
And even I'm looking at Patti's song right now. New Attitude, I forgot about that song. On My Own, forgot about that song.
Let me tell you a quick story for folks. You know, some of y'all wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac. Folks out there, it was a big deal when Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald made that song because they did not record the song together in the studio. She was on one coast, he was on the other coast. They recorded it and brought the tracks together to make the song. in 1985, 86, whenever that song came out, that was a huge deal that they recorded this album without that, huh?
1987.
1987. I know I was close. You can't tell me much about music leading up to about 93. After that, I get my dates wrong after about 93.
Yeah, Gladys is 1976 to 2016 because home. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong list. Excuse me, 1967.
Yes.
To 2005.
Yes. Yes, Gladys has been around for a minute. Yes, Miss Gladys has been around for a minute. I heard it through the great. It's going to be, here's the thing, wherever they do it, now I don't want nobody to please don't make Patti and Gladys turn into Teddy Riley. I just need them to be able to sit down with their mics. And I know, I think Swiss and Tim got this together now. They just say, go sit down over there, here's a mic, you just do your thing. I'm just looking forward to when Patti kicks off one of them shoes and hits the cameraman in the head when she flings that shoe towards the camera. And the wings get the flapping. Here's the thing. Here's why I believe Patti will. I just can't. There's nothing about a Gladys Knight performance to me that's like signature about Gladys Knight.
No.
There's so many things about Patti that we're going to be anticipating.
Yes.
The wings, the runs, the vocal, the shoes kicking off. But it's going to be fun, and it's going to be something that's going to be amazing.
I think what's great about Patti is that Patti is coming with the millennials because she's gone on, Watch What Happens Live with Andy to make jokes and be funny and tell stupid stories. And, she's got that quit. We all know Patty's pies, them sweet potato pies. So I feel like she's going to have more fun with it. Yeah. But from looking at these song lists, I'm a little concerned about how she's going to do. Because Gladys got a lot.
Gladys has got a lot of music. She has a lot of music, but for that Verzuz community, they're gonna have to do some real reaching out to that soul market because Gladys has not had a major hit since they did that song together with Set It Off almost. I have to go back. When they were all on the song together with Brandy and then wasn't she on that track?
Yes, that was 1996 Missing You.
I can't think of what hot track has Gladys Knight had since 1996.
Wait. Heaven Help Us All with Ray Charles? That was nominated for a gospel award. I don't know if that counts. Does that count?
Crickets. So I did my part. I shared it with my pops. Maybe we'll watch it on FaceTime together.
Oh my God!
Love over. And here's the thing: will any of the Pips show up? Is gonna be the next thing.
If Pips show up on this Verzuz, if they come out of nowhere in the background, I'm done. I'm like, okay, Gladys won. No matter what Patti plays now, if you brought Pips. Are they still alive?
Well, here's the thing. Now here's what I would do if I'm producing this joint. I'm gonna go get Lil' Kim and Missy Elliott and what's the Hispanic girl that can sing a behind off that was on that track that they remade with Left Eye. It was a Patti hook. Ladies Night. That's Patti's song they were singing.
What song is that?
You didn't know that.
Listeners, we're having a real research conversation. Just bear with me while we figure this out. Like, what song was that?
The Marmalade joint. That's Patti LaBelle. And yes. The comments are gonna tell you that was.
Well, because I know they remade the song "Lady Marmalade" with all of them girls.
Right. But that's Patti LaBelle. Yeah. That was when she was with LaBelle. The group was LaBelle. That was when she was still in a group. So anyway, all right. So what else we got before we start wrapping this thing up? This has been fun. I'm so glad to be back on this thing with you, girl. Let's do it.
Too. I mean, that's really all of our list. I mean, shout out to Kamala Harris. She out here wearing Chucks and making Chucks famous again, and she's out here really being the young fly vice president that we need since Joe Biden is apparently an octogenarian. I learned that word today.
What was that word?
He's gonna be an octogenarian.
What is an octogenarian?
They're gonna be in their 80s. So it's an octogenarian. I'm saying it very wrong. And nobody better not get in the comments and be rude. I'm sorry. I just learned the word today.
Yeah, no. You need to leave that word right there in the Webster Dictionary.
All I ask, though, please, to all my AKs in the world, shut up. I know we got to listen to y'all for the next 4 years because she's an AKA. Please stop. Please don't have them out here stepping at the inauguration. Please don't do no step show. No. Please don't let it be homecoming at the inauguration. Please
she was one time a campus sweetheart too. You know the news. We rocking with her.
God, sweet baby black Jesus. Like, I'm not looking forward to the inauguration seeing a sea of pink and green and it's so loud with the ski-wees that we can't even hear the speech happening because that's what they doing. Like,
you saw they had to explain to folks about when she mentioned the Divine Nine, the D9. They had to explain to her what that was, that it wasn't a game.
That was hilarious. Now, her having to explain what an AK is because Sunny Hostin from The View is also an AKA. So having to explain what black sororities are and why we're different and all that kind of stuff is low-key hilarious. I'm not going to lie. I have all my AKA friends. I have a lot of AKA friends. It's just when she got nominated, it was all the white people being confused about why all these frogs are popping up and what do these Ivy Leagues mean and what is AKA, like what all these explanations that people have to do that.
Oh, well, y'all need to continue to learn our culture. You've been checking out the Life Full Circle podcast. We're back at it. We'll be back next week. Y'all stay tuned. Miguel Lord, the super producer, Nakia Shakur. Peace and blessings. We holler at y'all next week. Make sure y'all follow us. All the social media stuff is down there. Follow, like, share, all that good stuff. Peace.